Okay, so we just got a huge update on the official voting of the Tush Push. Meanwhile, Lane Johnson takes to Twitter calling out the NFL because of it. We also go over a couple rule changes that were passed by the NFL, one proposed by the Eagles. So much to break down, including Cooper DeJean training with the Defensive Player of the Year, plus the Eagles' belief in Cindy Brown was part of the reason why they traded away CJ Johnson, and Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni go over the plan for the two new edge rushers. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you rock with our Eagles, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So a busy few days for the Philadelphia Eagles at the NFL annual meeting here in West Palm Beach. We heard from Howie Roseman, Nick Sirianni, and the NFL voting system on multiple proposed rule changes, starting with the biggest one of all. Will the NFL ban the tush push, as they call it? We call it the brotherly shove. And the answer is yes. It is official. The brotherly shove, tush push, whatever you want to call it, is officially banned from the NFL. April Fools. Hopefully you're not too mad, but there is an update on the voting. Adam Schefter tweeted, NFL owners have tabled the tush push conversation, no decision about its future at this league meeting, which means they will reconvene on this topic in May. However, prior to the decision being tabled, it was reported that they would need 24 votes to ban it. Sources say there were 16 cowardly teams that actually voted to ban the brotherly shove. They needed 24, as I said, so they're hoping by May, 8 other teams become cowardly and vote yes to get it out. Lane Johnson tweeted immediately after the brotherly shove news, "Hate us because they ain't us," which is absolutely the reason why they're trying to ban it. Because when you hear the teams talk about why they want to ban it, they talk about injuries, although there's no data about injuries. And they also talk about it's not a football play, it's more of a rugby play. However, there's only one rugby player that plays in the NFL. It's Jordan Mailata, who clearly thinks it's not a rugby play. And the funny thing is, all the people who are talking about the injuries that can happen were still running it last year. It just didn't work as good for them as it did for the Eagles, and now they trying to come for us. As for a couple other rule changes that did pass, the first one, which was actually proposed by the Eagles, the NFL will now allow both teams to possess the ball in overtime, but instead of 15 minutes, it's only 10 minutes. For GP, the Eagles proposed both teams get the ball, but they still wanted 15 minutes. The NFL said, okay, we'll give it to you, but only 10 minutes. The second one is that they are expanding replay assist. Now, they didn't talk about the specific plays that the replay will be expanded to, but just an expanded replay assist to help get the calls right. Lastly, the kickoff rule change, which now means if it's a touchback, it will be placed at the 35-yard line, which I said in my last video is ridiculous. When I started watching football, touchbacks used to be at the 20. Then they move it to the 25. Last year was the 30. Now the 35, it is ridiculous. 15-yard play, and you're at midfield. Anyways, speaking of all these rule changes, the NFL did something I think Eagle fans will like. John Clark tweets, the Eagles will be able to wear the Kelly Greens 4 times each season with the NFL adjusting their rule. With the Eagles being undefeated in Kelly Green, you can mark at least 4 straight W's for the 2025 season. As for joint training camp, I know, we haven't even got to the draft yet. However, it is being reported that the Eagles and Browns will face off in joint training camp practice this summer, which I think will be interesting with all the Myles Garrett to Philly rumors that were going on before he signed his big deal, and the fact that they traded for Kenny Pickett. He'll be going against his former team. Let's see how all that unfolds. Moving on to an interesting topic. Cooper DeJean, who had a tremendous rookie season, is back in the lab, but not by himself. He's out here working with the 2024 Defensive Player of the Year, cornerback Patrick Surtain. Now, I don't know necessarily if the trainers are Patrick Surtain's or they're both working with him for the first time, but there's not too many people you could be around better than the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, although their positions are different. One outside corner, the other one playing in the slot. They both were number one at their position.
There we go. I feel like Jousha. Finish it. I'll take it. Drop. Finish. Kick. Yes. Drop. Yes. There we go. Drop. Arms. Better. Better.
There you go. Go. Hey, go. 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 There you go.
We all saw what he did his rookie season. Now we see how he's training, who he's training with. The sky is really the limit for Cooper DeJean. Nick Sirianni was asked about him staying in the slot or moving outside at the NFL annual meeting. And of course, Nick Sirianni kept it plain. We'll see what happens, right? We'll see how the roster unfolds. We'll see what Vic is more comfortable with him doing and Cooper himself. So again, Nick Sirianni given a Nick Sirianni answer. We'll see when we get there. As for the question as to Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni about the departure of CJGJ, they pretty much said the same thing. We wish we could keep everybody. He was important in not just this Super Bowl run, but both Super Bowl runs. At the end of the day, we got a lot of young guys not under contract that will need to get a contract, and also a lot of veteran guys on big-time contracts. He also spoke about that position and the youth they have at that position that they feel good about. To me, that means they believe in Sidney Brown. I don't know if it's just Howie Roseman, since it's his draft pick, or Vic Fangio himself, who has always spoke highly of Sidney Brown. Remember, Sidney Brown didn't have an offseason last year due to that torn ACL. So this year he has one, and he's putting in the work. I know he only plays with one speed, super fast, and can be reckless at times, but Sleeper Eagles had this to say about safety Sidney Brown in 2024 in the very limited sample size. 89.9 Pro Football Focus grade, which is 4th out of 171 safeties, and an 84.6 coverage grade, which is 6th out of 171 safeties. Again, the sample size is really small, but I do think there's something there. And if anybody can get it out, it's Fangio. Not saying we won't draft the Malachi Starks, which I am extremely high on. He's one of my favorite people in the 2025 NFL draft. And we'll be breaking down the safeties, the corners, a bunch of different groups as the Eagles keep adding top 30 visits. But I do believe that Sidney Brown will get an opportunity to start, because how they were talking about the CJGJ departure, they were pretty much telling me that they believe in Sidney Brown. Back to the NFL annual meeting where Nick Sirianni was straight up asked, does he want Dallas Goedert to be on the team this year?
I'm sorry?
Do you want Dallas Goedert back?
Right now, he's on our football team, and obviously Dallas Goedert has meant a lot to us. And we'll see how that plays out. He's a heck of a football player, heck of a leader, and I want to be able to have back as many guys as you possibly can, but that is not the reality of the NFL. We got a lot of, so we'll see what happens and how that happens. But of course, you want everyone back.
He continued to talk about all the people that left. He said if it was up to him, he would keep everybody, but that is not how the NFL works. We're gonna have to see what happened. But it does seem like the Eagles will be looking and trying to trade Dallas Goedert before the start of the 2025 season. As for Howie Roseman's take on the two new edge rushers, starting with Joshua Uche, this is a guy that we've had our eye on for some time. We were interested in him as a free agent last year, and he decided to go back to New England. At the trade deadline, he was traded, and we had some interest there at the time too, but felt we had a good rotation going with the edge group. Joshua is a talented guy with a great work ethic who has shown the ability to get to the quarterback. A couple days back, I forgot to talk about it, but Pro Football Focus has Joshua Uche to the Eagles as one of their most underrated / scariest pickups of the offseason. And in the article, they talked about how he got to 11.5 sacks in only 8 games and what Fangio does with edge rushers like him. Plus, they compared it to the Zach Bond situation and how Roseman brought him in super cheap because Fangio was a believer and Fangio turned him in to what he was destined to be. Now, at least with Joshua Uche, we have an 11.5 sack season to fall back on. So Fangio got to study that tape and put him in that type of situation. Perfect low risk, high reward situation. When Howie Roseman was asked about Azeez Ojulari, this is what he said there. We obviously know him well, with us playing the Giants twice each season. He also played at Georgia, and we got a bunch of guys from there who have played well for us. Azeez fits in right away. He's got the ability to rush the passer. He has a lot of physical and intangible traits that we look for, and we're excited to bring him here and hopefully help him play his best football. If he can stay healthy, he was always projected to start playing his best football, and the Eagles are a team that if you get them on a one-year deal, we have had so many one-year deals play their best football and either stay with us or leave. But this is a perfect place for someone who has potential and you just need to pull it out. He's a young Philly dog. He will play his best football. With all that being said, I go by Philly Mike. Do your boy a favor. Hit the like. It's free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing. Subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you're notified when we drop videos or go live. Leave a comment. I absolutely love hearing from y'all. Try to answer back as many as I can, and y'all inspire new videos. We out.